This is a video I've been looking forward to for a while. If you've watched the channel at all, you probably know that Super Mario 3D World is one of my favorite games of all time, and the Nintendo Switch port that just came out a little over half a year ago is one of my favorite ports of all time. I think Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury was amazing, and there's very little things I would add to the game to make it even better than it already is. However, a couple of extra characters is one of those things. I think new characters are awesome, and would love to see some new ones in the game. In today's video, I have 12 different characters that I think should be added as DLC for Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, all these characters are from the Mario universe. However, I would be so down to do another video mocking up the character select screen for, I don't know, characters like Sonic, Link, Samus, almost a Super Smash Bros. Roster, but giving them all power-ups that work in the concept of 3D World. Let me know down in the comments below if you want to see that. These aren't really ranked in any particular order, however, I believe personally the last character on this list is bound to actually be added in as DLC. Enough of the intro, let's jump right into it. Let's start with Daisy and her double jump. This is a pretty standard move. I mean, if you've ever played Super Mario Run, you'd know that Daisy has a double jump in that game, and it's her signature move. She can essentially jump once and then jump in the air. It's pretty standard, it's a double jump. We don't need to spend any more time on it, let's move on. Yoshi has a flutter jump. I mean, he popularized this move all the way back on the SNES. It's been essentially Yoshi's go-to move in every single game he's been in since. Hold the jump button and Yoshi gets a little extra boost of altitude. Yoshi and his flutter jump should totally be in this game. Next up, we have Pauline. Pauline was repopularized in Super Mario Odyssey, and ever since then she's been in a couple of Mario sports games, and it's clear they want to make Pauline kind of the new Rosalina. After all, she launched with Mario Kart Tour when that game came out, I think over 2 years ago now. Pauline should have a hat throw. Not only was she popularized in Mario Odyssey, which obviously heavily featured Cappy, but in that game they gave her this massive hat that she's had in most of her appearances since then. Bringing that Mario Odyssey hat throw and jump on the hat style of movement into 3D World through Pauline would be awesome, as it would allow one of the coolest gimmicks in 3D Mario history to be put in my opinion, the best 3D Mario game. Next up, we have Wario. Wario has never actually been in a mainline 3D Mario, unless you count Super Mario 64 DS as the remake. I think Wario should have a shoulder bash. I'm pretty sure Wario rocks the shoulder bash in the Wario Land games. However, specifically, most recently in WarioWare Get It Together, he has this shoulder bash where he'll just dash out in front of him and kind of kill anything in his path. That would be perfect in Super Mario 3D World. You could destroy blocks, obviously kill enemies, and even get a bit of horizontal movement, so if you come up short jumping over a pit, shoulder dash, and I guess it would kind of work like an air dodge in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Just give you that little extra boost. Obviously, we can't have Wario without Waluigi, and I think Waluigi should have a charge jump. I think if you hold the jump button, Waluigi should be able to jump higher. Not in the same way that Luigi does, where if you tap the jump button, he'll go jump short, and hold it, he'll jump way higher. But in Waluigi's case, I think he should be able to jump normally. But if you hold down the button for maybe a full second or so, he'll bend down with his long legs and charge up a jump, and maybe he'll be able to jump super high, like double the height of Mario's normal jump. This could allow you to reach areas that typically you would need the cat suit for. One of my very few complaints with the level design in 3D World is that certain secret pipes, hidden stars, or stamps require the cat suit, and if you didn't pick it up earlier in the level, you're out of luck. Waluigi would kind of negate that, which is super cool. Next up, we have the king of swing himself, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong could have two different moves. One could be a roll. Obviously, DK's roll is used a lot in the more recent retro Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country Return games. It's a great way to control his momentum and damage enemies, but if you consider that too similar to Wario's shoulder bash, then Donkey Kong's seismic shock ground pound, which would essentially function the same way as his down B in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, meaning instead of a ground pound like a typical Mario ground pound, Donkey Kong will just slap the ground and everyone in his immediate area of effect will be affected and essentially killed if you're an enemy and knocked over if you're a player. Rumors are that a brand new Donkey Kong game is coming next year, and because of that, a Donkey Kong character in Super Mario 3D World would be awesome. However, it doesn't have to be just Donkey Kong himself. Maybe Diddy Kong could join the battle. In fact, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, and Cranky Kong could all join in. Naturally, they could all use their individual powers that you would find in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. For those of you who didn't play that game, Diddy Kong has a jetpack hover. It's a cool move, move, but to be honest, in Tropical Freeze at least, it was kind of pointless because Dixie Kong's move, which I'll get to in a second, was so much better. Cranky Kong has a cane jump, which essentially acts as a pogo stick, which can also save you from jumping on spikes. This would be super useful in certain levels where there's just a bunch of spikes everywhere on the ground. Using Cranky Kong's cane jump, you can get some extra momentum, extra height, and be safe from the spikes. Last but not least, Dixie Kong has a hair twirl, which to be honest, works pretty damn similar to Yoshi's flutter jump. You hold the jump button as you jump, and that hair twirl will give you a little extra bit of velocity at the end. Unlike Yoshi's flutter jump though, I could see the hair twirl doing damage to enemies. If there's an enemy above you and you hair twirl up into them, I could totally see that doing damage and killing whatever flying Koopa Trooper or whatnot is above you. Next up we have Toadette. I think Toadette could basically grab her power up from New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and that honestly was not really a Toadette power up at all. It was the Super Crown, which made Toadette infamously Peachette. That was a Toadette power up that essentially gave her Peach's flutter jump, but also let her do a double jump, since it kind of acted as the Super Acorn from that game, but mixed with Peach's flutter. I think they could rework that power up into 3D World, because we don't really have anything like that in the 3D space. Of course, it would definitely function as an easy mode, because Peachette has both, you know, Peach's flutter and I guess Daisy's, in this case, double jump. So it would function as an easy mode, but there's no shame in adding an easier mode to the game, and Toadette would work as just that. Next, we have Nabbit, who doesn't take any damage from enemies. This would function as an easier mode, because obviously you don't take damage from enemies. There's not too much to say here. Nabbit was in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and the New Super Luigi U game. He doesn't take damage from enemies, he's a bit fast, he can't grab power-ups, he just puts them in his little bag, but he can still fall into pits or lava, so watch out for that. Last but certainly not least, this is the character I think is most likely to be added into the game. That character is Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is already essentially in the game files for this game, as in Bowser's Fury, the expansion to 3D World, Bowser Jr. will essentially go around with you the entire game in a fully modeled clown copter and all that, with full animations for using the paintbrush to take out enemies. I think Bowser Jr. would act as the absolute easiest possible mode in this game, as Bowser Jr. would be able to hover over gaps in lava and use his paintbrush attack to take out enemies. I could totally see this being the case, as since he's so easy, it wouldn't really require Nintendo to add in anything to the main game. They wouldn't have to really give him a stamp for completion, you wouldn't have to hit the flagpole with him, because he is just essentially an easy mode. You don't need to give the player too many rewards for finishing a level as Bowser Jr., because that really shouldn't be difficult at all. Instead, it's more so when you're playing the game in more of a party setting and some people don't know how to play, or you're playing with just inexperienced players, you can hand him Bowser Jr. It's essentially like putting the smart steering on in Mario Kart. I think Bowser Jr. would be great in this game, and considering he's already in the game files, what's stopping you, Nintendo? Add him ASAP. Let's see Bowser Jr. in the main campaign. But what do you guys think? Those are the 12 characters that I think Super Mario 3D World could use as DLC. Do you think we'll get them? Which one was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below, and with that out of the way, I'm Thomas on the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.